Okay, so welcome to the slightly advanced mobility routine and follow along with me. Do what you can, don't be over ambitious. So, this is to wake up the body and to also lubricate your joints because once your mobility has improved, you, as I said before, you'll be able to move freely. And I'm a firm believer as we age, we can't do what we used to be able to do, but we can still manage certain type of activities if we involve mobility and stretching into our daily routines. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is go happy cat, sad cat. So what you want to do, you want to get on your hands and knees, like so, making sure your hips is in line with your knees and your shoulder is in line with your forearms. And all you're going to do, this is for the spine, you're going to round the spine by tucking in the chin, looking between the legs, and you want to arch it back down, looking up at the sky. You want to round it back up again, really waking up the spine. This mobility move is so underrated, but love your spine. That's the thing that protects you. So what you want to be aiming for is about 10 or 15. Okay, I'm going to be mixing up these mobility routines with static hold. You're going to be holding a stretch as well, but in this one, this is purely mobility. We're doing waking up the spine. So 10 or 15. Then we move on to the next one. So you're going to need a yoga block, okay? Depending on your mobility of your lower back, this is going to loosen up your lower back and also going to stretch out the glutes. So this is the reason I've got my leg crossed over. As you can see, I turn around this way so you can see it first. So one leg goes over the other. So therefore, I'm going to be focusing on stretching my right glute, which is my buttock, okay? So the block, depending on your range of motion of your lower back, can go up or can go in this position. Okay, so watch me from my profile, side position, like so. You want to get your block, and it's a mobility movement, then we're going to hold. So the first one, we're going to glide forward until our forehead makes contact with the block. And this is why I emphasize depends on your mobility of your lower back. So this loosens up the lower back as well as one side of your glutes. So here we go. Nice posture. We're going to glide forward with the hands, forehead touches. Bring the block slightly closer to me. What we're going to do is 10. So as I come up, I'm making sure I'm coming up very erect with my posture, so I'm not rounding. So as I go down, round, forehead touches, upright, nice neutral spine. I do 10 of those. Making sure the forehead is making contact with the block at all times. I've lost count here, but if you haven't lost count, get all the way to 10. Once you've got to 10, now you go into the static hold. Rest the forehead, relax the forearms on the floor, and hold. You'll feel a beautiful stretch in your lower back and your right glutes. So the leg closer to me is the stretch I'm feeling on the right glutes. Once I've hold for about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, I release. Then I'm going to change legs. I'll show you the headshot, this position. So now I'm going to alternate my legs. So my left goes forward now. So therefore I'm going to be feeling a stretch on my left side of my glutes. Put the block in the position. Nice posture. Glide forward. Head touches. Come back up. Always come up with a nice posture. Mind-body connection. Everything you do in exercise is always being focused. Mind-body connection. Not just going through the motion. We're going to go for 10 here. That's my fourth one. Lost count again. But you get the idea. Then we hold now for 10 to 15 seconds. Now one side of your body will feel slightly tighter. That's how it always is. My left side tends to be tighter. So really and truly, I should always start off with the tighter side of my body. So next time I should always start off the left instead of the right. Feel that beautiful stretch. When you know you've improved with your mobility, you can challenge yourself. Rather than the block standing upright, you can challenge yourself now by turning the block on the side, like so. Now, if you can get your forehead when the block's on the side, you know you're improving in your mobility in your lower back. So attempt this if you can, but as anything you do, take those baby steps. So I'm quite mobile in my lower back because my forehead can touch the block. By making sure as your forehead touches it, you keep your bum on the floor. You're not tilting. But that's not a good sign. So blockhead, this is called lower back and glutes. So just see how you progress to get to this level. So that's the lower back, which is called blockhead. But on to the next exercise, which is the hamstrings. Okay, now we're going to stretch out those hamstrings, the muscles at the back of your legs. And the reason why we get to a certain age and we can't touch our toes, and we just assume that because of this age, it's nothing to do with age. You've just stopped stretching. You're excessively sitting down. So when you're sitting down, what happens to the legs? The legs bend. So therefore you shorten your hamstrings. So when you shorten your hamstrings, they become tighter. So this exercise, which is the leg extension, I call it, if you can't touch your toes, don't worry about it. Just reach out as far as you possibly can. Then as time progresses, like anything else, you will improve. Trust me. So you're going to sit with your legs slightly bent. So this is the first move you're going to do, which is a mobility move because it involves moving. You're going to sit with your legs slightly bent. You're going to get hold of your toes. If you can't, get hold of your shins. Because what's going to happen here, you're going to extend your legs, but your hands should remain on your toes. Once again, if you've got tight hamstrings, this is not going to happen. But in time, you're improving your hamstrings by extending like so, then bending. Okay? So you do 10 of those. Extend, bend, extend, bend, extend, bend, extend, bend. Once, like I said before, you can't do this. Grab hold of your shins. Just modify it. Modify it all the time. If you even can't get that close to your shins, start from here. Okay? We all have to start somewhere. So we're gonna go for 10. Okay? Loosen up those hamstrings now. Mobility. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once I've done 10, I hold now into a static stretch. And if you can't do this, just go down to the shins, further up if you can. But you hold. Feel that? 10 to 15 seconds. And that's called the leg extensions. Okay? We move on to the next one. So after the seated leg extension, hamstring stretch, we're going to stand up now. Okay? Still going to involve the hamstrings. So we're going to stand up. Okay? Bend from the waist. Legs slightly bent. Once again, you may not be able to touch your toes when you extend the legs, but start from the shins. So you're in this position, and all you're going to do now is extend the legs, keeping your hands and grabbing your toes. So this is just different. It's a standing one. Then when you want to get the hip flexors involved, depending if you've got no problems with your knees now, you go into a deep seated squat. Most of you guys may not be able to do this because you may have bad knees. But if you've got an able body and you just got tight hips, start from here. So you're here in a seated position, squat position, nice posture. Okay, your fingers can be, your hands can be extended actually, or can be grasping under your toes. I rather it grasps under my toes, and when I lift, I'm extending, and I go back down. I'm extending, and I go back down. Extending, and I go back down. Now, if you can't keep your fingers underneath your toes, as I said, don't matter. Just go down here as you come up, hold onto the shins. Go back down, come up, hold into the shins. Okay? Extend the arms out if you want to as well. Then bring it towards you, extend. And And once you've done your 10, you just hold for 10 to 15 seconds. Guys, beginners, advanced, your beautiful stretch there. And sit back into it. And there you have it. Okay, so we're taking care of the hamstrings. Another muscle group that causes us so much problem and gets so weak through the years as we age is the glutes, aka the buttocks. Why? Because we don't use them anymore. We sit down a lot. And when you sit down a lot, you become weak glutes, means bad knees and bad back. So we want to lubricate and mobilize our buttocks. So we're going to do something called the facilitated pigeon stretch. So in this position, I've got my lead leg in front of me in a 90-degree angle. And I've got the one behind me in a 90-degree angle, and I'm upright. Okay? So the leg in front of me is where I'm going to be feeling the stretch, which is my glutes. Okay? So all I want to be doing basically is bending from the waist. Okay? Keeping my back as straight as possible. So both of my hands are outside the leg, and I'm here. As I bend from the waist, my arms bend. And as I lift my torso up, my arms extend, keeping my palms on the floor at all times. Okay? Being very conscious that I'm not rounding my back as I go down. So I'm here, bending from the waist, the arms bend, push back up, the arms extend. Once again, guys, I'm going for 10 to 15 reps. Once I've done 10 to 15 reps, I want to go into the static hold now to feel the stretch. I'll place both my hands in front of my bend 90-degree angle leg, and I'm leaning into that leg. I'm avoiding tilting to the side, because if your glutes are very tight, you're going to overcompensate and you're going to be leaning to the side like so. So I'm really gauging, making sure I'm staying central. Okay? And if the glutes are feeling like they're really getting the work in, you can feel the stretch. Be ambitious. Get the forehead down and extend the arms. Keeping it 90 degrees, because what's going to happen, you're going to have the tendency for this leg to just compromise and go in, and it's easy for you to get down. But you want to keep it 90 degrees like so, and really get down there and hold. Okay, I'll show you the other angle so you know what I'm talking about. Headshot, headshot. So back of the leg goes into a 90-degree angle. Okay, front leg 90 degrees. Okay, avoid your heels coming in towards your midsection. Avoid it. Okay, then hands out in front of you, bend in from the waist, coming back up. You're not rounding as you're going down. You're bending, keeping the back nice and flat, extending the arms as you come up. Once you've done your 10 to 15, you know the sequence. You get down on it. Now this side is very tight, I can tell, because I have a tendency to want to lean to the side, but I refuse. I'm getting back centered, mate. Not having it. So you hold for 10 to 15, and that's one way to lubricate and stretch those tight glutes.